Hi, chorale. So I know that the last couple of weeks have not been as planned. A lot of us probably still thought that we'd be at school, learning in a classroom traditionally, being with our friends, and creating more memories with those that we love. And that's not exactly how this year panned out at all. And it's hard to look at our situation and look on the bright side. I think definitely during what we're going through right now, it's hard to ever look on the bright side or to force yourself to. But there's always a time for everything, and God has a plan. And I just want to reassure you as your male chaplain that this is in God's hands. Last Sunday, I did Bible study on Google Meets, and we talked about the story of Lazarus and how when Jesus finally showed up 4 days after Lazarus had died, Martha was waiting for him, and she said when she first saw Jesus, "If you were here, my brother would still be alive. He wouldn't be dead." And I feel like a lot of us are really feeling the pain that Martha felt. Like, Jesus, if you're here right now, this wouldn't be happening. I would still be at school. I would still be with my friends. And I don't know why you've come late. But I'm upset. But she says something after she sort of scolds Jesus. She says, "But I know that with everything, if I ask for it, God will give it to me." She sort of relieves the situation with, "I still trust you." And I think that this quarantine that we are all being forced to endure together, there is something important that must be said. Our God is in fact a jealous God, and He loves everyone. And it's so hard to really focus our time and energy on Him when we're off in the world trying to do work and school and social stuff with our friends, trying to deal with drama and everything, and it gets distracting, and it's hard to really focus our minds on what's truly important. I think that God is using this virus right now to draw us closer to Him in this time of isolation. If I may, I'd like to read out of Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, which is, "All things have their time, and all things under heaven continue during their interval. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pull up what has planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones, and a time to gather. A time to embrace, and a time to be far from embraces. A time to gain, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cut away. A time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to be silent, and a time to speak. A time for love, and a time for hatred. A time of war, and a time of peace." I think that right now we are in a time that we don't necessarily enjoy. We would much rather have the time of love, a time of peace, a time of life, a time of embracing. But right now we are currently in a time of not embracing. And I think that's important to recognize that each time has its part. And both times are as how God wills it. that this world that we are in has a time for each of these things, and we have to learn to sometimes embrace that time. I challenge you, chorale, that as God is using this virus to pull you closer to Him, don't make Him pull any more than He is right now. Give Him the time that He is desiring to be with you. Spend this time to grow with Him. Spend this time in prayer. Spend this time in relationship with your Father. Spending time in, whether that's lamenting, in thanksgiving, in asking, pleading, praying, whether it's just telling Him how your day went. Your Father desperately wants time with you. And now we have the perfect opportunity to give Him that time and relational experience that He so desires. So, I am always praying for you, chorale. And I also pray deeply that we take this time during this quarantine to really focus ourselves on God and center ourselves on what He wants for us to do during this time of quarantine.